type of education at the young age till they die. It's not something that, well, I'll contribute this school this year and forget about next year. The school was already built, but we need another school. We need more, scholarship to reach out to other poor, needy people, or those who cannot afford to come for the education. And all of them, they'll contribute. Those who are affiliated, they will try to reach out parents, everyone. The reason is not just, collecting money. The reason is to educate the people through giving. Community, parents, of course, tuitions and grants also are income. In some schools, depends, but even if the well-established schools, still they will give 20% of the education, 20% of the scholarship to the students, minimum. So what's the return for this? Why these schools are being accepted in all of over the world? This is an economy. I'm not an economist. It can be wrong, but those are economists, they can understand the social and physical rates of return. This is a theory. When you give, let's say, deposit $200 to an institution, or let's say to a bank today, or Islamic bank, and they will give your money to someone else as a loan. And someone else will open maybe a business and employ some people. And these people, they will give tax. Even if they have 20%, what we call return of that money, because Quran says the money should not be in the hands of the people, it should be go around in economy. كَيْ لَا يَكُونَ دُولَةً. It shouldn't be, should be around in the trading business. So in that social capital return, when they educate the children, invest schools, and there's income. There's a credit for this. What they do, they don't use this credit for themselves. They go and do more invest. They don't say, well, we have a good income of the school. Let's raise the principal salary to $100,000, teacher salary to $80,000. No, they say we have that money, this capital. Let's invest for another school. You see, economically is beneficial. In terms of the social return, those who are graduated, those who are well-behaved, those who are in a position who can give, who can contribute to the society, everyone will be happy with this. And also, if they don't commit crimes, in Australia, for example, I was told that for one inmate, the cost of one inmate is over $150 per day. So what these students, they're behaving well, not committing crimes, contributing to the society, and that's why, whether state, Muslim, non-Muslims, and they're happy with that. And the service of these teachers and principals, they do not take this as a credit for themselves. They say, no, this is for your community. Then if we have more income or open more space or more help from the government or from your community, then we will invest to another education institution. So there is, kind of like a cycling going on, a social return of it, economical benefit of it, and the students become graduate teachers, economists, contributes to the society in many ways. And in conclusion, I thought this took longer than I expected. I think all of that is inspired by Fethullah Gülen. I spent some time with him. I have been working on this movement, more than 9 years. I work in the schools how established in Australia. I found out that the important part is role model. So who is doing this role model? Gulen himself, he's author of more than 70 books. He provides 90% of his income to the scholarship. 90%. And when I look at interview the teachers in Australia, for these 20 teachers, they get less than ordinary teachers in Australia. And they work harder, 2 times more than the Australian teachers. So altruism. Why? Because that was inspired, I think, by Fethullah Gülen himself. That Fethullah Gülen will not say, well, do this, don't do this. He never accepts himself, as I said, as a leader, by the way. If you say you are leader of this movement, he will get upset. He says, only I can be one of the volunteers among these hundreds of thousands of millions. I am not a leader. I'm just one of you. as ordinary person. So that inspiration comes to all. For example, those who are in charge, they do not possess anything. No house. Gülen doesn't himself, he has no house. When he stay in a retreat program camp, he would pay for this, pay his rent. Normally it belongs to movement. If he, even when he was an imam, when he was having wudu in the mosque, he would pay for this water. You know, he would think that annually, if I have, 100, let's say 2,000 ton wudu in the mosque, I'm spending that amount of the water, it will be, let's say, $10, and he would pay this. He says that I don't deserve to use that water. This is for all Muslims. Or when he was very careful, like Sayyidina Umar did, when he was using a candle for the state affairs, then he started doing his personal affairs, he turned off that candle and turned on the other, his candle. He said, this is for the state, this is for my personal. So Gülen is very careful to respect in terms of, the wealth, the people's money, the movement's money, even one single cent, it will bother him. And that affects, of course, those who close associates. And that affects the principals, the teachers as well. So they are not the people who can use that money for their pocket because they are giving. When you give something, then you devalue it on one hand. And that's working. And he spends, again, he dedicates himself not just for the Muslim community, and even, as I said, to the humanity. So he says that in conclusion, he says the problems is not, this and this. The problem is human being. The problems come with human and goes with human. If I saw nearby Kaaba that they're using drugs, that Islamic law is forbidden beside of the holy shrine. They are using drugs. So the problems come with the human and goes with the human. And he says that students need to be educated in a such level that one day others would admire him or her for the altruism, high morality, material and spiritual success, devotion and self-sacrifice committed to the good for the community. Good for the community, that's important. Because to him, he does not make distinction, us and others. He says that us is the one who's ready to serve, others is the one who need to be served. That definition. Us or me ready to serve others, and the others need to be served. So that definition, with that mentality, we should serve the society, we should serve for the humanity. And through that, so what's the return of that? Number one, I would say that it's a changing image of Islam in the world. And it's easy to blame this country, these people. But Said Nursi, long time ago, when half of the Ottoman land was occupied, Muslim land was colonized, he said that we have three major enemies. You think that he said, German, French, UK, British, this country, no. He said that number one is ignorance. Number two is poverty. Number three is disunity. If you overcome these three problems, we will be successful. When we blame others, then we don't see our mistakes. We don't see our faults. When we don't see our faults, we don't repent. We don't fix it. We don't figure out this problem. And then problem grows and grows and grows without solving the problem. So for Gülen, he says that problem comes with the human, it will go with human as well. So this is not something new concept, as I said. It's by Al-Ghazali, by Ibn Arabi, in terms of the Insan Kamil. And for Gülen, he says that we have the schools, we have the best, buildings, but that in that school area, the religion should be applied, not talk. The spirituality should be practiced through self-dedication, through altruism, not with the bombarding the information. Especially in this time, you just click it, you can download all hadiths of the Prophet. You can download all tafsir books. And he says, a good Muslim is the one who has good dealing with others and is productive. Is productive. This is presented not only through the theory and information, but also through role modeling. So the Muslim, it is based on the hadith of the Prophet actually. اليد العليا خير من يد السفلى. The hand which gives is better than the hand which receives. And to be piety, good, how we are dealing with others. This is the criteria. This is based on Quranic verses, but I have no time to go in details. Well, thank you so much. As I said, please feel free to ask any questions. I will not be offended. Also, any comment, I'll be happy. If you have time, I can hear from you as well. As I said, I want to learn from you too.